These three wrecked, Charles Sumner and James O'Brien, could win this race. Coming up on the high side, Taylor Stout tries to use the run, and now it is a push from Goodell on Chris Hudson on the bottom. Does he push him the whole way, or does he abandon him? He tries to find the inside. They are going to come together. They're going to come together, and Stout keeps it straight. Taylor Stout will win this race.
We're 3 wide down the front straightaway with a bump draft in the middle.
And that's Cowgill that's getting the bump from Cervantes. Another one joining in. Stanton working together with Greenhoe now and looking to go as far into the corner as they dare. Greenhoe around the outside. Cowgill still with him. Gets fed out just like he fed him out before. And Sinead pokes his nose out, and so does Moraes. Moraes manages to get to the inside, but this is through the 90. They're going to be wheel to wheel as they come up through the S's. This could be a toss-up to either one of them as to who comes out ahead. Back and forth they weave as they climb over the crest, almost banging doors, in fact, and cutting a big hole in the air. And Jean-Marc Tremblay wants to try and find a way through. Instead, he has to play defense as now Bertome makes a go at things. And down into the corner, Moraes is onto the podium as J.R. Williams falls to 4th.
Close behind. He's just going to want to keep everything nice and tight here. Careful through turn 5. That's a little bit, flirting with disaster was BJ Fulton. Here he comes on the charge.
He's got the speed, but he's around the outside of turn 6, and he takes it. Can he keep it on the track? Yes, he does.
Oh, here comes Karthik Pai on Ove Trangrade.
Down the inside of turn 1, and Trangrade off into the grass. Thankfully keeps it from spinning back across into Miko. Miko has to dodge to avoid, but here he goes. Great exit. He's got the slipstream. Ove's going to defend. Coming down into Charlotte's Web, looking around the outside, breaks deeper into the corner. Can he do it the long way around? Not quite.
Not quite, and Lino's going to have to line this up again, but he is very close. He's not done. He's going to have a look going down to the inside of the museum corner. He's going to have to be later under the binders, too wide.
Couldn't quite get there, in a little puff of smoke as he has to get on the brakes once again, not to run into the back of him.
Hey there, I'm Nicholas Dubois, co-founder of Advanced SimRacing. We are a Canadian company. So what we did here today is for a real petrol head. He's really passionate about cars, as you can see behind me. We did a turnkey solution for him based on his needs. We try to gather as much information as we can on our client. And like we did today, we install a D-Box system. We install ultra-wide cube control steering wheel. We try to provide the best quality for your budget. So let's say if you want a budget of 10 grand, we're gonna give you something that's the best for 10 grand. If you want 20 grand, then we always try to stay within your boundaries. We do try to make it as easy as possible. So the client, once we install everything, it's pretty much gonna be a turnkey. So he's gonna press start on his computer, and right after, we'll try to explain everything, how it goes, how it works, and then he's ready to go. Our aluminum is from USA, treated in Canada, cut in Canada. So we do sand all our aluminum piece just to make sure the powder coat sticks to it. And that's one of the reasons why we use powder coat, is to make sure you have the best aluminum finish in the industry. And our quality is beyond what you can get with any other competitors right now. We are really, really passionate about all the gear, all the cockpits, all the sim hardware, and that's why we want to create something that's really going to reflect our passion into our product. Come visit us at advancedsimracing.com. You can always reach us if you have any questions. You can call us, you can text us, you can go on Facebook, like our page, ask us questions over there, and we'll make sure to answer every questions there is. We are very passionate about what we do, and we try to make it as easier for you to go into the sim racing world, because there's a lot of gear, there's a lot of options, but let us guide you through your process, and let's hope you'll be an advanced sim racing customer.
With Andrew Hardman wrapping up the championship before last round, that leaves the battle for second place very tight for the F3 championship. Will Ridgway hold on to second, or will Ritters continue his success after last week's win to try and take away the second spot? Or will Scarali and Broomhead bring themselves up into the fight? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch the PRL Precision Racing League F3 Amateur Series here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Adam Lindgren, and with me in the booth is Michael W. Johnson. Behind the scenes is our director Joe Peak, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Hungaroring is the newest track to iRacing. As far as the road courses are concerned, and to find out a little bit more about this legendary facility, let's take you down to our track guide.
Welcome to the Hungaroring. Situated just northeast of Budapest, this Grand Prix circuit has racked up a stunning history in just a little more than 30 years of existence. Its biggest claim to fame was holding the first Formula One race inside the Iron Curtain at a time when the Cold War was at its peak. But most fans don't associate this 2.7 mile or 4.38 kilometer track with politics. No, its 14 turns make it tight and twisty, with a reputation for few places to overtake. For a long time, it was renowned for processional races in which qualifying is of the utmost importance. But the past couple decades have seen a litany of utterly wild and unpredictable races that greatly overshadow the single-file events of before. The majority of passing takes place into Turn 1, while some battles do carry on into Turn 2. But be careful about how greedy you get, because the steep drop in elevation makes it easy to go wide. Other than that, Turn 12 is often the only other realistic place to sneak by your opponent. Perhaps the scariest and trickiest of the corners is 4, which presents a blind and crooked entry into a high-speed flick. Though modern times have seen a paved runoff added to it to make it safer, that's considered out of bounds, and drivers will find themselves being told to give back time if they abuse the exit. Built with fans in mind, the track sits in a natural bowl, allowing great views from most sides of the venue. It's easy to see why it's become a fan favorite on the F1 calendar, and there's little doubt it'll continue to see lots of racing for years to come.
There we saw quite a few different views of this curvaceous track, Michael. But why don't you tell us a little bit about how these F3 machines are going to handle it today?
Well, they're going to have a fun time with all the downforce these machines have. This course really does well in for machines which have a lot of downforce, the prototypes. Even GT3s, not so much in GT4, but these F3s, lots of downforce, lots of fun. A lot of these corners become kind of an afterthought. Oh, hey, I just went through a corner. But it'll be interesting to watch how these folks manage things like Turn 4, named after Mr. Mustachio himself, Nigel Mansell, when he had a brilliant overtake of Ayrton Senna. And there's also the Lacey corner, which is Turn 11. Now, there are 14 corners here, depending on how you count them. It's about 2.7 miles, 4.4-ish kilometers, and it is very high speed. You have a couple of spots you got to slow down, but not for long, especially in these cars.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an exciting race today. And to take you just through the recap, let's take you through the points for the Drivers' Championship. We got Hardman having won it last week over Ridgway, 62 points ahead, 83 points ahead, actually. And we're taking a look at team standings as well. And Michael, why don't you take us through that?
Well, the team standings, it's Britannia iSports up at the top with 562 points. Atomic Racing Proton holding solidly in second place with 83 points behind that. And then, well, for third, fourth, and fifth, it's pretty close. So the third place standings here are kind of up for grabs, depending on how SDS Racing, VHR Racing, and TML Motorsports do today.
Absolutely, and we are going to take a look at those drivers' standings here. We got Andrew Harbin, as I said, 62 points ahead of Ridgway. Ritters is only 15 points back, so that's definitely a closable gap if Ridgway has a bad race today. But that being said, Ritters has to do a little bit better in qualifying than he is right now. Only another 12 points back of that is Scarali, so he's got a chance at second place, as well as Broomhead, who is about 20 points back. That's going to be a little bit hard to mount today. But still, the battle for second, definitely not done today. Michael, why don't you take us through the race details, though?
Well, today's race is going to be round 9 out of 10. It's a 25-lap race with open setups. There will be a pit stop. The biggest question in pit stop is how much fuel they're going to take on and if they're going to take tires or not. Personally, I don't think they're going to take tires, but things to watch out for: drive-through penalties at 13 incident points and disqualification at 17. Incident points come from touching the grass a little bit too much, maybe cutting a corner, or contact with another car. You can get several. And then there are extra points for fast lap, pole position. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race today, I think, to see how those extra points get snapped up.
And just a slight correction, it is going to be round 10 for us today. Our graphic was a little bit incorrect there, but that's okay. One thing that is definitely not going to mess you up is going to be our sponsors tonight. Our broadcast is brought to you by ASR, owned and operated by passionate sim racers. Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. Visit them at advancedsimracing.com.
Also brought to you by RaceLab. It helps you to improve your driving skills. Start using it now for free at racelab.app.
Today's broadcast is also proudly sponsored by ButtKicker. ButtKicker products add an incredible immersion and realism to any game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat. Check them out at thebuttkicker.com.
And of course, NinjaTrader. Visit ninjatrader.com to get started with a risk-free trading simulator to start tracking your performance.
Alrighty, we're in the thick of qualifying, Michael, and Hardman sits up there on pole position by 0.2 over Ridgway. We got Tyler Scarali down there in 4th position, just behind Michael Broomhead, and by just behind, I mean 1/1000th of a second.
Yeah, it's pretty tight up there. We'll see how this works out, but we're used to seeing this being much tighter than this. I expect we're going to see something in the neighborhood of thousandths of a second between first and second, or maybe second and third. Tyler Scarali, not one to be left out of that either. Really good at scrapping his way up into there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And of course, my favorite, we've got Takeshi Kita back there in P9, Mr. Sneaky himself. I think he's just setting himself up for another brilliant run to the front.
Yeah, Tyler Scarali and James Holland both had spin outs there coming around turn 5. So just a couple of cars falling afoul of the inside barrier coming off of Andretti. Well, sorry, not Andretti. What am I speaking of? Falling off of Mansell. There we go. Andretti's on a different course. But that being said, I mean, it's going to come down to the wire for sure. 4 minutes 20 left in the session. We've got 1 minute 36 lap times at the fast end. So we still got a couple laps to go for these drivers, and most of them are setting up for fast laps. You can see Kita actually backing off here to set up for a nice run.
Yeah, Takeshi Kita doing what he can to kind of sit back, doesn't want to get in anybody's draft too much, doesn't want anybody too close around him. You can see in front of him, got a lot of space, so he is ready to take off once he comes around and down towards turn 1 right now, heavy into the brakes right there at the edge, and then just touching the curb. Nice exit. I think we may see Takeshi Kita move up just a little bit, being little Mr. Sneaky as we're used to seeing him.
Speaking of moving up, Rob Campbell finally puts in a time, jumps himself up to 21st position. So he is currently 4th from the back of our current qualifiers. At the moment, we have 24 qualifiers with Calvin Lay, Dave Peterson, and Kenny Brown. They're currently, it appears to be out of the session. I'll double check on that though.
Yeah, and Rob's teammate, Swindell's, is also doing quite well. He's up in 16th right now, 1.6 seconds off the lead. But as we know, Richard Swindell's and Rob work together really well. I think I referred to them as the Canadian Sharks or something a couple of weeks ago, because they were just hunting their way through the pack and really working well together. So looking forward to seeing them. And we're back now with Andrew Hardman coming around. Looks like he's going to try to get another lap in as he comes around that final corner, puts the hammer down, gets all the way back out, and yeah, nice run. He's going to get a pretty good lap there. Just missed it, though.
Just behind. Only 3/100th of a second behind his current pole time, so that's pretty good for sure. And so Hardman onto another quick lap here, but that was a very, very fast lap for sure.
Yeah, consistency is good. Gotta love it, and kind of enjoying his livery here. I wish I could read that Ukrainian, but not very good at it.
Here's Rob Campbell trying to make a good run here. Remember, he was the one who just set a quick time, and he's going to set a quicker one this time around too, up to 20th position.
Nice job from Rob Campbell. He's trying to get closer to his teammate there. They do work well together, so we'll watch them closely during this race. I expect to see them kind of team up as the race gets moving through, probably close to around the time everybody starts pitting. And then, we have Greg Doucette trying to be part of the groundskeeping team out there. Not exactly where he wants to be. Taking a look also here. Michael Broomhead is up to third position. He's only 0.3 off, but he's coming around the final corner. Looks like, well, that's not a 30-second lap. I promise you, that is not. It's about a minute or so off, but he's going to put it down now and try to get a really good run as we switch over to Rodriguez, who's also going to try to make a run for this.
Absolutely. So we're closing in on a minute to go in qualifying. So all these drivers are starting their final laps of the session. If they want to close that 0.2 gap that's between Ridgway and Hardman, they're going to have to do it now. Rodriguez crossing the line, jumping up 4 positions up to 12th spot. A great run for that STS Racing Team teammate.
Yeah. Ooh, Rodriguez going a little bit too hot. Easy enough to do. Tough to not do sometimes, especially depending on how you've done your setups. Setups can be tricky on a track like this because you do have some fairly nice long straights. You don't want to necessarily go with a low downforce start. You kind of want medium to high here, but you really need to be able to maintain the speed because these straights are long enough to take advantage of a little bit less wing.
Absolutely. So here's Colin Heffernan, who's going to come around the beautifully arced couple of turns here, now sweeping through turn 11 Alessi and trying to come down into the hard braking. Actually, it's coming out of the final corner. Sorry, my bad. Got a little bit mixed up there where we were on the track, but Heffernan coming around here and it does set a fast lap time up to 5th. That's a fast time.
That was a nice job. That he was really hoofing it on the tail end there, but I think he might be able to get one more as it looked like he crossed just in time, but I'm not sure if he got it or not. Looks like he's gonna call it. Yeah, looks like he's gonna call it. Looks like, yeah, I think he did not quite make it, but we still have a few out there trying to make it. Here comes Adam McDonald around for his final lap, coming across the line. Didn't quite do it. Just, it's tough. It's really tough to do that when you get under pressure in those last few seconds of qualifying.
Andrew Hardman also did not go any faster that lap, so he's parked it as well. And that's pretty much going to set our grid. We only have 5 drivers running around right now. Fernando Rodriguez, who is not setting a time, and then we got Rob Campbell here, who is out there trying to set yet another quicker time. Currently 19th after climbing from the back of the pack, so setting some good times himself. We've also got Nicholas Condos who's coming around, and Devin Lemke.
Yeah, looks like Rob Campbell fought his way up to 20th. He got another position and not going to do it on this one. Looks like it was more of a cool down lap. Maybe he got a little bit wiggly around a couple of the corners. And Lamke heading into the pits. This looks like Nicholas Caranjas. He is making his way around that penultimate corner, trying to get every millimeter of track, setting it up nicely there. And just a little bit too tight. Rear end comes around. Sorry to see that, but hey, that's just going to make the rest of the race that much more fun. Adam McDonald looking like he's trying to make his way around 2 for his last lap.
Well, that being said, he actually crossed the line and finished, so I think he's just getting some practice in these final 30 seconds. But Michael, 2/10 separating our pole position. This is a real rarity in this series.
That's a lifetime in this series. We've seen some series where maybe 4 or 5 tenths is kind of what you expect. We were doing another race the other night where it was almost a second from pole to second. But in this series, we're usually counting by thousandths between first and second or second and third. It's really unusual to see that big of a gap. So brilliant job by Andrew Hardman, I got to say.
And that being said, he is going to take pole for this race. Alongside him is going to be Ridgway on the front row. Broomhead's going to start off in third with Scarali in fourth. Colin Heffernan in fifth position with Craig Doucette in the sixth spot. Stephen Ritter's going to line up at seventh tonight with Max Chambly in the eighth position. Final row, row 5 is going to be Takeshi Hida and James Carter. 11th back will be from Michael.
Looking at row number 6, we have Matthew Gunderson, Brad Miller. Row 7 is Fernando Rodriguez with Jonathan Almanar. Adam McDonald and Richard Swindells take row 8. In 17th position, Nicholas Karanges, and then 18th is going to be Devin Lamke. Rob Campbell slides it into 19th there at the end, with Phil Amaro coming in 20th.
And we've got Tyler Gore in the 21st position with James Holland in 22nd. Donald Olson's going to be 23rd, and James Doherty is going to be 24th. The last to set a time. Dave Peterson and Calvin Lay are not racing tonight. I'm not sure whether Kevin Brown is either, so the 3 of them who did not set times are not currently going to the grid. Definitely an exciting race that we're going to have here going on, Michael, but we're going to be waiting for those lights to go out. Still about 45 seconds.
It's going to be a challenge for us spotting tonight, I gotta say, with so many people having their support for the with the Ukrainian livery, the Ukrainian colors on their car. We've got 4 out of the top 5 are sporting the Ukrainian colors on there, so this is going to be fun.
Yeah, just about half of the field sporting Ukrainian flags in one way or another, so definitely going to be an exciting race for sure for all these drivers. It does look like Dave Peterson has actually decided to join us for this race. He has gridded up, so that is good news for him for sure, and good news for us. 10 seconds till the lights go on here at the Hungaroring. Amazing to see these standing starts here in the F3 series. Here we go. The lights are going to turn on. Here we go. Lights are on. And waiting for the flag. And the lights are out, and away we go. No, the lights are on now. There we go. Delayed start, and away we go. Harmon with a fantastic launch. Ridgway very good as well. We've got Broomhead who's got a nice jump over Scarali, and look at that. That's Heffernan who wants to take a look at the outside as they head towards turn 1.
Yeah, as they come down in here, we're up to 3 wide on that second row, but I can't tell them apart as they come through. I think they're just trading paint a little bit, not that you would ever know. But hey, we made it through turn 1 with very few incidents coming on down into the next tight corner. This one is downhill, so it's going to throw the weight off that front. You don't get quite the traction, but putting down the power, coming down this short straightaway, heading up towards Mansell.
Cold tires, cold brakes, and Heffernan actually falls back after taking an early 3rd position. We've had a little bit of an issue. Looks like Devin Lamke's fallen back a little bit, but Hardman currently has the lead over Ridgway, Broomhead, and Heffernan. As we have, that's Karanjas who's gone around.
Karanjas is not having a good day. Looks like Donald Olson may... Oh, no, he just got overtaken by Phil Amaro. And we have Richard Swindells working his way up to P13. Really nice start for him. He is up 2 positions already. Adam McDonald up 3 positions. That midfield pack is really starting to make some moves.
Absolutely, and it's a complete traffic jam from 14th on back, from Swindells on back through Campbell, Almanar, and Lamke as they're still side by side. But right now, Hardman leads, Ridgway leads, Broomhead leads, Heffernan leads, Scarali, your top 5.
Yeah, and we were talking about that gap that we're not used to seeing. Hardman right now has over a second. He's approaching 1 1/4 seconds of a lead over Ridgway. Ridgway needs to put the hammer down, needs to really get focused. Oh, and we got a spinner.
That's Broomhead.
That was Broomhead. Broomhead has spun.
Michael Broomhead is around. This is a big deal, unfortunately. It looks like he did clip a little bit to the outside wall. Oh, don't take the wing off it, Broomhead. Oh, that was close. Rubin trying to get himself turned around off track. This is really challenging.
Oh, that's going to be difficult to make up in the pit stop, but you never know what could happen. Everybody has equal opportunity to make that exact same spin. That is a tough corner, especially when you're trailing somebody and you've got a little bit of wing wash. Trying to get through there, you're just in the range. As we watch coming down here, we've got P4. That looks like Colin Heffernan trying to do a little job on Tyler Scarali. Tyler's holding on to third position. Ooh, going really wide there. Heffernan might get a slowdown for going out that wide, but he's got to hold it off just as long as he can. He is still right up on his tail.
Yeah, and here, that's Kita that we're on board with, actually trying to put some pressure onto Heffernan. Oh, Heffernan takes it a little bit wide. Kita's going to look to the inside here. Kita trying to take an opportunistic move. Heffernan holds him off by powering it around the outside. It's very spicy driving up here, but they've got to be careful. Scarali's getting weight on 2.5 seconds. Heffernan just needs to put his head down and drive. Man, Kita, a great exit. Can he do anything? Coming into 12, it's going to be who's latest on the brakes. Kita tries to make the move and loses it.
Oh no, Mr. Sneaky is trying to be sneaky. Got that tail end around. Looks like somebody else went around too, just in front of him.
Gunderson.
See who that was. Gunderson. Wow, this is going to be a race for the spin. Not a race for the spin, a race for the spin.
And Kita has another problem called hot rear tire is really starting to spin up for him, so he almost loses it coming around 13. So he's all the way back at 17th position now. Such a struggle of a race right now for Kita.
Yeah, but don't put it beyond him. He does a great job working his way back through the field. I think we may see him be able to work his way back up. Now, back up towards the front, though. Colin Heffernan doing what he can, doing a really nice job trying to get back in touch with Tyler Scarali. That was an interesting push he made. I think he actually did have a cut penalty there for going wide at Mansell. And that's why, and he did a brilliant job. Serious props to the brilliant job of working off that slowdown that he got, because he was off pace, but Kita could not get around him. So, hey, major kudos there to Heffernan.
Absolutely, fighting all the way throughout the pack. We've actually got a big pack from 15th on back, right behind Kita, actually, is where we have a gigantic pack. Look at the string of Ukrainian flags driving down that track right now. Coming into turns 6 and 7. This track really feels longer than it actually is wow, look at all these cars just nose to tail right now. Kita starting to run away from this pack a little bit, but they're still battling hard.
Yeah, they are still really pushing hard early on in the race. We're not used to see, well, usually about this time, I think, is when things start to settle down. People get into their groove. They've made those opening salvos to get into the position where they want to be. And then they kind of hold back and go for it really again after the pit stop rotation. Robert Ridgway, though, look at that from P2. He's trying to make up some ground. He has got the fastest lap at a 1:37.4.
Yeah, Ridgway really does need to bring that speed. Now, that being said, we know that Hardman has really good one-lap pace, but Ridgway has very strong race pace, and we know this over experience. Now, and worth noting that Matthew Gunderson is into the pits. I'm not entirely sure why.
Taking a look, I don't see any penalties for him. Doesn't mean there isn't one, but yeah, Gunderson has taken a dive down into the pits. Doesn't look like he's taking on tires or anything, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But let's take a look here at Phil Amaro and Donald Oulton. Oulton really doing a nice job closing up the gap here as we come up into Mansell. Is he going to get, yep, just the right amount? Could have taken a little bit more on the outside, but I think he didn't want to upset the balance. Sometimes when you are in that tunnel of air or lack of air, and you pop out all of a sudden, you get a weird effect on the cars. And that does happen with these F3 cars at some tracks, especially when you have a little bit higher downforce setting. So I think that was probably smart of him to kind of sit back a little bit. Ooh, I think he was okay getting out that wide, though. I don't think that would be a problem at that point on the track.
Yeah, he's definitely feeling the wake from Phil Amaro up ahead, and this has always been a concern for the drivers that race here. This kind of aero effect for sure. And yeah, I felt that effect you're talking about, Michael, where you pop out, you know, as you're going around a high-speed corner, you pop out and all that air hits the front of your nose and just spins the car around. And so just really hard driving for these drivers. Take a look at this battle, though. This is Jace Doherty and Nicholas Karanjas as they're battling themselves as they come down the front straightaway. This is for 20th position.
Yeah, I think this is just kind of for some fun as Karanjas makes a pop out to the right side, going to take him down the straightaway. I think Karanjas has got it. He is around, but Doherty tries to come back around. Are they going to make it? Karanjas has the inside, puts the hammer down, opens it up. He's got about a car length and a half to the good as they work their way down towards turn 2.
Karanjas is trying to make a recovery drive. Remember, he was spun early on in the race, so he's trying to get himself back up towards the front of the field right now. Here's a nice battle here. This is a three-way fight between Heffernan, who's fallen off the pace a little bit over the last couple of laps, with Doucette and Shebley behind him.
Yeah, this is a nice little trio we've got going here. Notice how Doucette is just kind of not over pushing. He's getting a little bit closer under braking, but not trying too much. He doesn't want to get too close. He's really trying to set this up for that run down the start-finish straight. So now they come around through this corner, try to get their nose just around this penultimate corner, try to push it all the way out, catch a little bit of that curbing over into that pit entry line, out to the left side. You want to just barely touch the curb now, get on the throttle and get into that tunnel and fly down the straightaway in the giant hole of air.
Absolutely. Doucette with a nice run, but I don't think it's going to be quite close enough to make a move into turn 1. Unless he wants to try a Bottas, but fortunately he doesn't. Oh, that's a lockup there from Heffernan. Heffernan looks like he's struggling a little bit with turn-in. Possibly he doesn't have enough front wing in that machine right now.
Yeah, it could be front wing. It could be there's not quite enough lift coming from the rear of the car to throw that weight forward, so he may have too much rebound dampening going on. If he had gone for a little bit less rebound dampening or maybe a little less compression damping in the front, that probably would have helped. But I'm sure there was something else as we take a look at the GSRC replay here. This is Peterson. Yeah. So Peterson coming up here, gets his nose out, goes into the braking zone, now hard on the brakes, gets well past him. Nicely done. By the way, love the green wheels. That's awesome. Nice pass, very clean, very fast.
Yeah, beautiful pass there. So you see quite a few of these happening right now, and Peterson trying to move his way up, currently in 15th position, and that was Kita taking an opportunistic look at Swindell. This is Peterson heads off a little bit, so yeah, Swindell's under heavy pressure from Kita trying to make his recovery drive.
Yeah, back here up towards the front with Greg Doucette and Max Chablis. Chablis is closing in on Doucette. This is a really nice setup right here. I think we may see a good attempt at a pass. Gets a little bit wider on the exit, puts the hammer down. He is right up under that rear wing. We may see him be able to pop out here right at the end of this, coming down into the turn 1, pops out, comes out, overtakes on the inside. Oh, and a little bit of contact on the rear.
Very light contact. Fortunately, I'm not even sure if they made contact. I'll have to go back and take a look at that. So, yeah, Chablis doing a great job making that move over Doucette. Took it in too deep, but parked down the apex. Doucette tried to, follow him through and probably make a move on turn 2. Take a look at this, though. Tyler Gore going slow.
That right rear wheel is pointed about 90 degrees in the wrong direction. I would say that's a bit excessive on the toe end on that toe end on that right rear. Fortunately, it's right here at the pit entry, and as long as he can kind of hobble his way across to the pit entry, he won't lose too much time, but that's going to not let him be up closer to the front.
Absolutely. So that was definitely an issue there coming off of turn 13. Probably just spun the rear tires up a little bit, but most of our battles have calmed down a little bit. We still have that battle between Swindell's Kita and Peterson for the 13th position right now.
Yeah, Takita, after that early incident, working his way back up. He was down around 20th, 21st. He is all the way back up to 14th. Expect to see him do a little more here. I think we'll find him closer to the front at the end of the race. But right now, he has got some serious difficulty ahead of him because those Canadian Sharks, we've got Campbell and Swindells, working just as I said they were going to be working as a team. So Takeshi Kita and Dave Peterson have their work cut out for them to try to get around this Canadian pair.
Yes, they do. And Peterson looking on behind Kita, and now we've reached the point in the race where we've reached a little bit of equilibrium, it looks like, Michael. It seems like everyone who was out of position has now found their way into a different position. The only difference is that Kita is a little bit out of position, but with severely heat-soaked tires because of that incident that he had. So Kita's had a cycle on these things, almost like a a green flag, yellow flag, green flag cycle like we see in the oval races. And so he's definitely working with a little bit degraded machinery.
I'm curious if he's going to opt to take tires when it comes around to the pit rotation. We are only about 8 laps into this we're calling it a 26 lap race today, or it might be 25 depending on time. This is going to be a good question to watch when he comes into the pits. He's doing really well still. He is able to hold on to the back of that machine of Swindell's. Swindell's is trying to catch back up to his teammate. He could let his teammate around so he could open up some air in front of him, try to go make an attack. Or maybe he's just kind of staying back to try to fend off Kita and Peterson, who are trying the best they can to get around here. So we watch Peterson close up really nice under braking. Kita being the meat of this sandwich, he needs to be careful. He's got danger on both sides. So that gives Peterson the opportunity to get up around. And Kita off to the left. I wonder if that was an odd setup position trying to make the run on Campbell here. Or sorry, Swindell.
Definitely giving it a shot. Swindell a little bit in the grass, had to do a quick juke to the right, but I just don't think Kita's close enough. He's going to have to set it deep if he wants to go. He takes a look, does set it a little deep, but yeah, defending from Swindell. So Swindell's feeling the pressure from Kita, but Kita backed up a little bit on the apex here. Here comes Peterson. He's going to take a look into turn 2. Is he going to send it on Kita? No,
I think better to wait until they come out of here and try to do it on the way up into Mansell if he can get close enough. He has been doing really well under braking, so maybe after Mansell as we go into that hairpin at turn 5.
Absolutely. Look at this though. Kita takes it so deep through 5, so a great run from Kita. Unfortunately, entering a section where you just cannot affect a pass without a mistake from your competitor ahead. Really, from Mansell through to the end of the lap, Michael, it's so hard to make a pass around here at the Hungaroring. The best chance you have is into turn 12, and even then, that's really hard to get a good run out of Alessi here to try and get that run going, because you're under the downforce problems from the guys ahead. Look at that though, Peterson right to the back of Kita under braking.
Yeah, I was going to make a comment about how good Takeshi Kita is on the brakes, but wow, I think he needs to be taking some notes from that guy in his rear view mirror. Peterson has really done a fantastic job in those heavy braking zones like we were talking about going into turn 12. And that's a downhill braking zone, so it is a little bit more challenging. He's really got a feel for the brakes today as he puts his nose out. I don't think he's really going to go. Kita blocking it off. He's just taking that little bit of a defensive line. Did not slow him down too much as he works his way up, trying to get back up to where Swindell's is. I think his defense of the attack from behind from Peterson is keeping him from being able to mount a really good offense onto the Canadian pair.
Absolutely. So he probably needs to just hope that Peterson doesn't attack too hard and just put all of his focus on passing Swindell's. Ooh. Adam McDonald looks like he's made a mistake here and may have been passed by Carter, and here comes Almanar to try and take advantage of it into the twisting 6 and 7, and that's going to force McDonald to go back even further as Campbell sticks his nose through.
Campbell gets through too. Swindell's is going to be next on him. Swindell's is still about a second back, still holding this pair we've been watching for quite a while. But Adam McDonald, not a bad driver himself. He's been putting down pretty decent times, 38.2, 38.1. He's been doing really good, consistent laps. So it's going to be challenging to get around somebody who is that consistent. You've really got to get into their head and start playing those mind games with them.
Absolutely. And we've been watching this three-way fight for a little bit, and I'm going to try and spark something here because I'm going to take the cameras away from them, and that means that the fast is going to happen. But the battle for fourth is actually starting to heat up between Colin Hefferman, Shibley, and Doucette again, as all of them are starting to close into each other. Chevrolet really closing in behind Heffernan, who continues to fall off the back of Scarali to the tune of 6 seconds now.
Yeah, this is interesting how Scarali, Ridgway, and Hardman have been able to really just pull away. Now, speaking of pulling away, out of that group, Hardman has pulled out 4 seconds over Ridgway. That is huge. Now it's another 3 back to Scarali. Those guys are kind of running their own race. They've kind of set where they want to be. The only thing that can happen now is either an individual mistake or some weirdness with traffic. But don't put that out of mind, because that can happen. We've seen that several times this week, and they've got traffic right in front of them now.
Yeah, this is Steven Ritters. Let that sink in, Michael. That's Steven Ritters.
Yeah,
23rd position.
I was confused when you said it was Steven Ritters, who was traffic. I'm not used to him being that far back. Steven Ritters has been on the podium here. He may have actually won. I know he's been on podium because we've talked to him. He is not supposed to be this far back. So interesting to see how this is developing.
Wow. And Ridgway goes into the pits. So an early taker. This is our second position driver, second position in the points. Yeah, Ritters was supposed to be challenging Ridgway for the second position today in the points championship, but unfortunately Ritter's having a bad day. But there is Ridgway in the pits. Looks like no tires for Ridgway, so it's going to be fuel only. Out with 5.5 seconds in the box, 23.5 seconds down the pit lane, and that's our fastest pit stop today. Michael Broomhead came in a little bit earlier with a 26-second time down the lane.
Yeah, he spent a little bit more time stationary. I wonder if he maybe had gone out by mistake with his qualifying fuel, and that may have been what caused his early spin, because you sometimes have a little bit different setup for qualifying that doesn't really take into account other cars being around you. So that could have messed him up, and he needed to take on more fuel. Just a guess.
Taking a look now at Ridgway having just come out of the pits. That's Carter and Almanar, who are tucked in behind. Remember, they just made the opportunistic move on McDonald as well as Campbell. So that's 8th through 12th that are going on right now. Look at this.
Oh,
tight stuff from Almanar.
Ritters. Let's take a look back at Ritters. He just had a big crash. He has no wheels on the left side of that car. That's definitely going to end his day. But back to Jonathan Almanar now, really putting the screws to him. He is trying to get around. He is not doing any favors for anybody trying to make up. He's like, I'm getting around you, and it is happening soon.
Absolutely, and Swindells is losing positions as well. So Takeshi Kita and Dave Peterson both sneak their way past Swindells. So lots of things starting to happen here.
Like you said, take the camera off of them, and then guess what? They went right past. But we had great action to watch while that was going on.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not over yet. Look at this. Nice braking from Almanar, trying to put pressure onto Carter there. Campbell not too far behind, looking on. Carter going a little bit off track there. So very, very interesting racing going on here. This is the final round. There's absolutely nothing to lose for these guys. No penalties to worry about. Well, I mean, I guess you could theoretically carry one into next season if it was bad enough, but it's absolutely time to pull out all the stops now for these drivers.
Yeah, and this is really kind of it's the last race. I don't have to worry about the rest of the season. I might make up a position, I might lose a position. But as we notice, those teams, we had the teams position 3rd place in the teams championship. That was really, really close. So we may be seeing some teammates working together a little bit harder to try to help their teammate get into a little bit better position so they can take that P3.
Yeah, 35 points between SDS Racing Team and VHR Racing. So keep your eyes on those drivers as they head around the track. Such interesting stories here throughout. Yeah, we got Fernando Rodriguez in the SDS Racing Team machine trying to make his way around. And then VHR is Donald Olson. We got Jonathan Almanar on SDS as well. So Almanar doing pretty well today. Currently up there in that 10th position. And Greg Doucette's come into the pits from the 5th position.
Yeah, taking a look here at Donald Olson from VHR Racing. He is currently in P18. He is not going to dive into the pits. That was, I think, Carandis behind him?
Almanar.
It was Almanar behind him. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting thought through pit rotations. What are you going to do? How are you going to make it? Greg Doucette coming back out in 15th place and just rolling through turn 1. Let's see how this unfolds. We have a lot, probably 2/3 of the field left to go through the pit.
And Michael W. Johnson says, Karanjas, you should come to the pits, and Karanjas obeys and came to the pits. 5.4 seconds, 24 seconds on the lane for Karanjas, comes back out in 20th, just behind Almanar by about 4 seconds.
Yep, so not too bad. That's a very nice stationary time in the pits. That's one of the fastest we've seen. The fastest I've seen so far was actually Jonathan Almanar, who did it in 5 seconds, 23.9 on the whole lane. So that's actually a really good time that he had there. So great job.
Absolutely. Take a look at the battle for the 5th position between Fernando Rodriguez and Brad Miller. Remember, Rodriguez, one of those drivers on the teams that we're looking at, SDS, so Rodriguez is not going to want to lose this position. He'll be fairly desperate to keep it, but Miller rolling very strong through the center of 13. As they sweep towards 14, you switch from the right side tires being very hot under pressure to the left side tires, and Rodriguez with a great exit there is going to weave over to the right side of the track to try and hold off Miller.
Yeah, I see people doing that even in pro level, and I don't really get why. It doesn't help you. It just lengthens the straight. So if you want them to have an even better chance, give them a longer straight to do it down. So there's always the opportunity to fight back. There are better ways to do it. I never really like seeing that weave happen when people are going down the street like that.
And look at this, Anna McDonald taking tires. So interestingly, he comes out with 7 seconds, so it's only a 2-second loss to take tires. It'll be interesting to keep our eyes on McDonald to see whether or not he gains time over his previous lap times with those tires and whether that's enough to make up the 2 seconds he stayed in the box. Michael, back onto the weaving for a second. I think the people we have to ask the question as to why the drivers do it are Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah, you do make a good point there, and I don't get why they do it either. It doesn't really do much to help you. One move is okay in most leagues, and every league has its own rules. Like, for example, in SRO, you are not allowed to move in response. However, in IMSA, you can zig, but you can't zag. And it doesn't matter if it's in response on that zig, but as soon as you make that second move, then you're going to get called out on it. So different leagues, different rules. It'd be interesting to know exactly how they apply that rule here.
Well, it's definitely something that I get used to, is reading the rule books for the leagues. But take a look at this. Rodriguez still under pressure from Miller. Let's see whether he does the weave again. Not this time. A little bit of a loose moment coming out of the final corner as Shabley comes into the pits. So Max Shabley into the pits. Does he take tires?
Chablis trying to make some time in the pits here. He is stationary, and yeah, it's hard. I don't think he's going to take tires, but we're going to watch this race. Oh, we got a good shot on him. Nope, it does. Oh, yeah, he was up. He was up in the air. He took tires. That was a very, very long stop. That was 11.5 seconds.
That's not going to help him stay in that third position that he was in. Well, provisionally, I think it would be 6th after the pit stop cycle. So Shabley back down to 15th spot right now. And he is quite a bit behind Doucette that he was battling with earlier. So unfortunate for him. I think Shabley, I mean, our director says he might have had a front wing change. I didn't see any damage that would have caused that. But sorry, Shabley almost had a terrible moment there. But Kita and Peterson battling for 9th position, as they already got by
Swindells and
they
Peterson. So Swindells, Peterson, Kita, and Campbell. Campbell on Carter now, though. Take a look at this. Is Campbell trying to stick his nose in there as they come down into 12. Oh, trying to cut off that. No, sorry. This is going to be the dive down into 12. As they go heavy into the brakes, bring the car back around to the right side, get back on the power all the way back over to the right side. That little porta potty there is actually a great marker. When you're driving through here on the sim, it is a great marker once it's at a certain. Oh, and looks like Swindells is coming in for a pit.
Campbell, actually.
Swindells. Oh, sorry, Campbell. They have the same livery, but at least they're identifiable as that team.
So Campbell into the pits now. I can report that Rodriguez is there. There it is on screen. Held off Brad Miller by yet one more straightaway, and Rodriguez this time went all the way to the right side of the pit straight. Was absolutely up against the pit boards coming down the straightaway to try and hold off Miller. So definitely feeling the pressure from Miller behind.
Yeah, and it's interesting. He goes down this long straightaway and doesn't do that. He's able to carry the speed down there, and it just bugs me that people try to do that. You're actually lengthening your straight to cause that. And if you just go down and stay in your position and maybe pinch them down a little bit, you can get away with some. You're not going to slow them down too much. Oh boy, it was a lot of curbing that he took there. Ooh, could not quite pull it off. Close though. Brad Miller really making a hard move to get in here as we come around the penultimate corner. Nope,
no,
sorry, it's earlier.
11, that's Alessi.
That was 11. That was going through Alessi right there.
Yeah, here comes Rodriguez. Rodriguez actually trying to do a defensive move on Miller. Rodriguez absolutely sweating under the collar right now with Miller putting pressures. He's going to take a look around the outside of 13. That's not going to work. These two have been battling so hard right now that Ridgway has gained. And I think Rodriguez, yeah, he's going to bail to the pits. He's going to say, you know what? I'm losing time here. I'm going to come out of the pits. And Brad, you go do your thing.
Yeah, Rodriguez dropping into the pits. I'm curious if he's going to take tires or not. Should be interesting to see if he makes that choice. Let's sit on board with him right now as he works his way.
Holland's had an issue.
Oh,
this was contact.
Was that who was
this? Was
that
contact with Almanar.
Ooh,
there you see Almanar recovering as well. Oh, that was scary.
That was scary.
Let's take a look at this one. This is Almanar and Holland. There's the contact.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of left front to right rear on that one. It was hard to tell from that angle exactly. But yeah, a little bit of that left front to right rear as they work their way into here. Take a look. Coming through the corner. Oh, a little slow coming off of there, but nothing too bad. Now setting up for here. He's way off the apex. Notice how he closes up very quickly. That he closed up at least a car length, probably two. Gets the nose in there. Yep, it was not tire to tire. That was just, he was a little bit faster through the corner and did not expect that lead car to be as slow as it was.
Andrew Hardman has come into the pits. Our leader is in the pits now. There we see him on screen, and Scaralli's going to follow him in. Robert Ridgway at the time of the pit stop was 30 seconds behind on track. The fastest pit delta that we have seen is 22.3. The slowest that we've seen is 26.1 on a regular stop. So Hardman, 4.7 seconds, 22.8, easily ahead of Ridgway, who just now exits the final corner. He's got that, yeah, it's going to be close to 10 seconds lead over Ridgway.
Scaralli has a 15, 16, 17 second pit stop going. This is going to be over 20 seconds. Something is up with Scaralli.
Speeding?
Did he hit the wrong button? Maybe he got a speeding penalty.
That's what it looks like to me.
More like a penalty. Yeah, I think he may have got caught speeding in the pit lane.
So that's third position out for Scaralli. That moves Heffernan up to third after he has also taken his pit stop. Doucette is about 4 seconds, 3.5 seconds behind Heffernan right now.
Yep, doing everything he can, trying to push it to that last millimeter. Got a little bit too deep and got that penalty. That's really frustrating as a driver when you get caught just even a half a mile per hour over. Depending on the league, they will get you for that. So you got to be careful. Watch that speeding penalty. I've had people ask me, "Oh, you're a race car driver. You must get a lot of speeding tickets." Actually, no, because if you knew what it cost me, like penalty wise and money wise, to speed in a pit lane, I don't speed at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, it's very rare for a race car driver to actually get caught for a speeding penalty in racing, maybe, but for speeding on a real road, usually not. And Broomhead is having some connection issues right now, so his bad day going from bad to worse, unfortunately. But taking a look now, this is the battle right now between Scaralli and Lamke. This is for 13th position, and Scaralli trying to recover from that 40-second penalty and 4.6-second pit stop.
Yeah, Scaralli doing okay here, considering the length of that pit stop. That was rough. You get a penalty, and that really can mess you up. He is trying to close down on Swindells, though. He has got under a second to Swindells and just under a second behind him to Lamke. So Scarali in a good position to really focus and make his time without being too close to the car in front of you. You can still get a little bit of an advantage of the draft, but not so much that it takes you out of the ability to use the downforce provided by your wings. As we switch over to Campbell and Kita here.
Interesting thing to note, I was keeping an eye on Adam McDonald, who was our first driver to take tires today. And if you want the answer to the question of does fresh tires make you faster, the answer is no.
Well, it depends on the driver.
He put his fastest lap in on lap 7, and ever since taking his pit stop on lap 15, he has not set a faster time than that one. His second to last lap was at 38.4. So there's Broomhead with going quite slowly.
So McDonald here, yeah, he is. Well, so with McDonald, the thing to watch will be very interesting. I think we're going to notice as the fuel starts to come down and these fresh tires are at that same spot. So if his fastest lap was on lap 7, watch 7 laps after his pit stop to see where he is.
We'll have to keep our eyes on that as we are approaching that point for him. He's under a little bit of pressure from Karanchas and right behind Lamke, so still a decent battle up there. Just an update on the lead. Hardman, after his pit stop, has pulled out another 2 seconds over Ridgeway, up to 12 seconds over Ridgeway.
I'm watching on my side monitor here. Looks like we got Peterson about to make a pass on Carter, getting his nose out in there. He is passed into turn 1, holds it up against the curb and gets the power down. A little bit better exit. He is history. He's going away now.
I can report that Adam McDonald spun out in the final corner as well, so a lot of things happening at the same time there.
Whew, this race is really turning into something. Wow, it's never a dull moment watching this F3 group race. I love calling this race because there is always so much action all through the field. As we take a look at Tyler Scarali trying to work his way back up, recovering from that penalty on the tail of Richard Swindells. He is about a quarter second off and just hunting him down, closing up as they go through every corner. Ooh, this is going to be close. I think we may see a pass before turn 1.
That's going to be tight. That means he's going to have to get a nice run out of Alesi and then into turn 12, setting up for it, but a little deep through 10 means that he's going to go wide. Oh, sorry, that was into 9 that he was a little bit wide. So can he get Alesi right? The answer is a little off.
Ooh.
But it's not going to give
it was pretty good, I think. I like the way he did that. He's actually closing up. If you take a look, it's not just so there's a little accordion effect we're seeing here. Now, Swindells is still getting a little bit of help from Carter in front of him. Carter is no, that is not correct. I'm looking at the wrong group, but Swindells and Scarali, this is quite the battle. The car in front of him was a lapped car, so he's getting a little bit of a benefit there. Notice as he pulls over to try to get a bit of a draft and then comes back onto the regular racing line as he works his way around. He's doing exactly what he needs to do to stay ahead of his rival Scarali.
Yeah, absolutely. But Swindells, under some heavy pressure right now, and it's very heavy pressure. Scarali taking a look into 2. Look at that, Swindells deep into 2. Scarali taking a look at the apex, trying to take it away, but Swindells able to get the power down. It's going to be able to try and make a run through 3. Now here we go up to Mansell. Can Scarali pull a Mansell? The answer is not this time.
So trying to pull a Mansell there, hoping, and Swindells hoping he is not Senna in that case, because that would be we'd have to rename the corner. We'd absolutely have to rename the corner from Mansell to Scarali. I got to tell you, I am a pro driver. I do this for a living. This is how I pay my mortgage. This is how I eat dinner. I would not want Tyler Scarali this close on my tail. I can tell you that without any fear of hesitation. Absolutely no question. He is quick, and wow, can he really bring it.
That was beautiful through Lacey that time around, but Swindells was able to keep some speed going too. Still late on the brakes for Swindells. He really is feeling that pressure, Michael. This would not be fun to be ahead of this man right now. Oh, a little bit wide for Scrawley. Can't quite make the late apex work. Tried to woe it up in time to do so. Look how deep he's going through these corners. And look, he puts the pressure on Swindells, and Swindells blanches Scrawley with the pass.
Oops, Scarali passes him right at start finish. Now Swindells has got his work cut out for him, but he's in a good position if he can hold on to it. Notice he gets his nose back out. This is a little bit of an attack, semi-attack move. It's like, you got around me, but I'm not letting this go. I'm coming back for you. But I think Scarali has decided, no, I'm just going to go ahead and check out here. I can tell you that the Swindells is a good driver. We have raced in other leagues, gone mirror to mirror, door to door, nose to tail. He is a very good driver. He can hold his own. But just like I said, I would not want Tyler Scarali to be that close behind me. And I definitely don't want him this far in front of me, because he's going to be hard to catch.
Yeah, absolutely. So Scarali starting to scamper away from Swindells a little bit there. And taking a look around the field, looks like Rob Campbell starting to fall back into the clutches of Takeshi Kita, who's on his recovery drive. I mean, my goodness, Michael, Kita, if he can keep it consistent and clean through the end of the race, I could see him possibly having a top 5 here. Well, we have 2 minutes left, so maybe not.
Three laps, he would have to be.
Oh,
Mr.
Rodriguez is around.
Sneaky. Oh no, Rodriguez has gone around. Well, that could be a position for Chiquita unless Rodriguez is able to recover quickly enough. But not to be outdone, I mean, Peterson is up 15 positions, and in front of Kita is Rob Campbell, who's up 11 positions. So there's been a lot of movement in this field. I don't know that it's going to happen in 3 laps, but I wouldn't put it beyond Kita. He started in 9th, fell all the way back, and is all the way back to 9th now. He might actually get another few positions in 2 laps.
I could see him at least making his way past Campbell if he can, but we are on the penultimate lap, I believe. Taking a look at Harbin, yes, this will be the final lap that we're approaching for these drivers. It's going to be, it will be 25 laps then that they will complete, it looks like.
Yep, about a minute on the time and about 1 lap left to go. So we should see the white flag here as Hardman comes around on this lap.
So here comes Hardman out of the final corner to take the white flag, I believe. We're going to take a look at the flag stand. And there is the flag out and displayed. So white flag for Andrew Hardman with about an 11.5 second gap over Ridgway for second, who's got 12 seconds over Heffernan in third.
Yeah, Heffernan kind of taking a quiet 3rd place so far. He still has Greg Doucette 3.5 seconds behind him. Now, the way this race has gone so far, I would not put it out of the realm of possibility that Doucette could come up and get that 3rd place. But then you've got a pretty big gap going on down the field, so we're kind of settled in. I think the major races we're going to want to watch right now are going to be Takeshi Kita on Rob Campbell on Fernando Rodriguez, and of course the finish.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're taking a look at Heffernan as he heads into turn 2, and I mean 24 seconds between first to third, Michael. That's a lot, especially in this series where we usually see it nose to tail for most of the field. This track has been really blanching these guys.
It's been kind of a thing this week. I swear every time I've gone to watch this week, this is exactly what's happened. Someone has really checked out on the front, and then 2 and 3 have kind of a pretty insurmountable gap, but not as bad as first to second. And then the really interesting stuff happens in the midfield, kind of like Formula One.
Exactly. It's very similar to Formula One. So Andrew Hardman coming through the final corner to take the checkered flag. Hardman comes out of the final corner and will win here at the Hungaroring. I can report that Devin Lamke just had an issue and will drop back to 15th at least. We'll keep going backwards, but Ridgway coming around the final corner now. And he will take 2nd position.
Woo.
Heffernan. Ooh, that was
Show for us.
And Heffernan now coming around through the final corner and will take 3rd. So Heffernan doing an excellent job here to stay consistent after that great start.
Yeah, looks like Doucette's going to make his way across, also putting on a drift show. Here we have Brad Miller and Max Chablis with a tight finish. Oh, not quite, just a little bit over, almost 3/4 of a second there at the end. Yeah, that was close. And this whole midfield is really trying to battle as close as they can here at the end.
Nicholas Karanjas under some pretty heavy pressure from Swindells. Can Karanjas make the over-under work? He's going to try it with all his might, but it's just not going to be enough. Swindells will take it at the line for 13th.
Wow, by less than a tenth. 0.089 seconds is what Richard was able to hold on to there.
All right, that's going to take us to a short break, but don't go anywhere. We will have the unofficial results as well as some driver interviews after the break. Don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss this. What a race we had today. The PRL F3 Amateur Series closing out today with Andrew Hardman taking the win over Robert Ridgway in second position. Colin Heffernan comes home in third with Greg Doucette about 3.5 seconds behind in fourth. Brad Miller slots into the fifth position with Chablis about 7/10 behind, so very close there for that fifth and sixth position. Fernando Rodriguez able to hold on to a seventh position ahead of Rob Campbell and Takeshi Kita, who recovered after spinning out early, back up to ninth position. Dave Peterson rounds out your top 10.
In P11, it's James Carter, followed by Tyler Scarali with some very difficult issues going on early on. But nice recovery drive to get back up to P12. Richard Swindells in 13th. Nicholas Karanjas 14th. Michael Broomhead, nice recovery drive there as well in 15th. Phil Amardo, Adam McDonald, Jonathan Almanar, Donald Olson making it up to 19th, and Devin Lamke in 20th, one lap down.
The rest of the drivers today had bad days, unfortunately. James Doherty, James Holland, and we got Tyler Gore 3 laps down. Steve Ritters, DNFing from that
So
third position.
unusual.
So unusual for him. Matthew Gunderson in 25th, and Kenny Brown and Calvin Lay did not start the race. That brings us to our first interview, which is going to be our winner today, Andrew Hardman. Andrew, I mean, from start to finish, a commanding drive today, but still a little bit of pressure towards the beginning of that race. But man, it must be nice to have that clean air out there.
Yeah. Robert was definitely pushing me at the beginning. It was one of those gaps where you can't even afford to make little mistakes. He was definitely pushing me all the way there, and I'm happy that I was able to keep it clean and pull away from him eventually. But yeah, by the end it was a bigger of a gap, so it was able to keep it pretty easy, pretty loose, you know. But yeah, certainly at the beginning it was tough.
And I mean, Andrew, you did an excellent job here to seal out this championship, going into last round. But talk to me about how it is driving out there, knowing that you've got the championship at hand and still, putting out such good times and winning this race. What's your mentality going into a final round where things are wrapped up like that? Do you put the same work ethic in, or is it a little bit more relaxed?
Well, I certainly want to want to prove to everybody that it's not a fluke that I won. I want to show that I still got the speed, and it wasn't others' problems that got me there. So certainly putting down a dominant performance was the goal, and yeah, but it's also nice to know that. So keep it loose, keep it fun for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess that begs just one question, which is, are you going to come back next season?
You know what? No, I'm actually not. So the team has decided that we're going to go to the Precision Racing League TCR class. So
Oh.
it's going to be my last F3 race for a little while. I'm sure I'll be back eventually, but yeah, for next season we'll be in the TCR cards, which will be a fun new challenge. Those cards are kind of the exact opposite of F3 cards in almost every way. So certainly looking for the challenge there.
Absolutely. The TCRs are a very interesting series for sure. So we look forward to, to seeing you guys over there for sure. But is there anyone you want to thank for your season and the race win today?
Well, I mean, firstly, I'd like to say we're very fortunate to be able to sim race in Canada and the US and most places in the world. But there are people in Ukraine right now who aren't able to even live freely. So we put on liveries to support them. I know it's a small gesture, but it's certainly something we want to show our support for. So that's the first thing, and then of course the team. I want to thank them for an awesome season. We've really put together a great package every week. We worked really well together. They're the nicest guys I know. Two of my best friends are Mike and Tyler. So all thanks goes to them. As well, you guys for putting on such a good show all season. It's been really fun. The organizers of the PRL, it's been an awesome season. And it's my first season in sort of a proper league. So it's very, very fun to get to race with these guys every week. And then just the competitors of PRL. I've had an awesome time. I haven't had any run-ins with anybody. Everybody's been really clean, very respectful. The Atomic guys have put up a good fight all season. Robert and Steven, of course, got me a couple races. But yeah, thanks to them for making it such a challenge and making it a fun season. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Andrew, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the 22nd when the IMSA and TCR series starts up.
Thanks so much.
That was Andrew Hardman, your winner today. And
I have Mr. Bobby Bombs right here coming in to talk to me. So, Robert, the start of the race, you had a really brilliant move. You had the inside corner, turn one, and you were making a great run for it, and then it just fell away from you. What happened there?
Man, it was there. I took it. I tried to stay low. And man, we had such a long race to go. I was like, let's just keep it side by side. Because as you know from the pit stop, I had other plans.
Yes, you did. So tell us about what those plans were.
Honestly, I went with essentially the qual setup with a few more leaders in it just to try to go for the fast lap. And then also, I knew, man, Hardman has been so consistent all season. He was a bit faster. So I was like, well, I could chase him for a little bit and see how it goes. And then it worked out pretty well, though. Luckily, it didn't run into any traffic on the, time between everyone else's pit stop.
So speaking of fastest lap, by my observation, only 3 cars got into the 136 range. Hardman was able to get a 136.679. Do you know what yours was? You got a 672. So I think you got the fast lap there.
Oh, okay. I think I had 671, 696.
Oh, yeah. Our timing in the
yeah,
I think it shows
overlay.
671.
Yeah.
So yeah, very close. So really nice job. I think you actually might have gotten that extra point there. So I'm sure that feels great. So why don't you tell us what is your plan for next season? Are you going to stay here in the F3 and give us as many exciting races as you have so far, or are you going to move on to something else?
I'll still be here. I'll see. Hopefully, I can still keep up. It looks like we're going to have a lot of crazy drivers, like crazy fast drivers next season. So it should be fun. I would love to fight for a top 10 and be proud of it with that level of competition. But yeah, it's been a good season so far. We could do it again. Run it back.
Run it back. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you fighting your way up at the front of the field yet again. Who do you have to thank for your P2 today?
Man, this is, thanks to you guys for hosting it, obviously. But then big thanks to the team, everybody today too, Takeshi, Max, James, Colin, Steven, It's been fun. It's been fun doing it with a great group of guys. It's been a fun season. It'll be nice to take a week off, and thanks to the family and the kids and everybody else.
Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for putting on such a great show. And we do look forward to seeing Mr. Bobby Bombs once again for another season. But right now, our P3 Colin Heffernan is talking to Adam.
Yeah, Colin, your best finish of the season, and what a great way to end it for sure. That was some amazingly gutsy driving on that opening lap. What was your thought process heading into turn one? It seemed like you really decided to just leave it all out on the track today.
Oh my, a fear? No, it's funny. Like sometimes in the first lap, you just absolutely have to send it, or else you're going to get punted. And it's kind of a double-edged sword in that respect. But yeah, that lap was nuts. I think I might have ruined the fan favorite Mr. Sneaky's race, unfortunately. Maybe on cold tires a little bit, but no, it was madness.
Yeah, absolutely. But then it was just consistency from then on out. You did start to fall into the clutches of Greg Doucette and Brad Miller a little bit toward the beginning of that race, but it seemed like after the pit stops, everything changed. Did you make an adjustment in the pit stop, or did it just feel a little different, the car?
I feel like the track was slightly improving, as well as my confidence over the race. Maybe it was just more rubber, or maybe the track temps were dropping. But I had my teammate Max, get real close and say, "You're good, just keep pushing," and that kind of gave me the click-in mentality I needed.
Absolutely. And I guess this is the question we've been asking everyone, but worth asking you too. Are you going to be coming back next season?
I am. I mean, PRL is awesome. GSRC is awesome. This broadcast is awesome. It's just a really good time. And I try to encourage as many people as I can to join. It's a lot of fun.
Well, the Precision Racing League definitely puts on good shows, and we look forward to broadcasting them every week. But Colin, great job today coming home in third position. Is there anyone you want to thank for your season and this race today?
Oh, so many people. Tasha, my friends, for watching me spin every week. Team Atomic, of course, for being super supportive. And Robert Ridgway, he has great setups. Everyone who threw on a Ukrainian livery, that was super cool to see. Yeah, that's it.
Well, Colin, thanks for talking to us, and we look forward to seeing you up here in the booth and on the podium multiple times next season as well.
Yeah, thank you. Keep it up, guys.
That was Colin Heffernan, who finished in third today. And unfortunately, that's going to be the end of our broadcast. It turns out that the Porsches are not going to race today. So because they're not going to race, that would, I think that would close out their season. Am I right about that, Michael?
I think it is. Yeah, that's going to close out the season. I think it was pretty well solidified last week. But, sometimes you just want to go out and race for fun. And other times you want to go to dinner with your girlfriend. So yeah. I think if I had it wrapped up after the incredible racing we have seen from that Porsche tribe, man, you kind of need a week off. And I think I would have opted to go to dinner with a girlfriend too.
Absolutely. But that being said, we're going to take a look at their championship points just so that we can make sure that everyone knows what happened for them. Loyola wrapping it up last race did an excellent job. Well, I actually wrapped up 2 races beforehand. If they would have run tonight, it was possible for Cal Quinn to win it had he won the race and got all the bonus points, 33 points back. But just 1 point it ends up over Morales, and only 6 points ahead of Mies. So very tight for that driver's championship for sure. And that is, the winner goes to Loyola. And let's take a look at the team's championship as well, Michael.
Yeah, so Morales having that brilliant drive last week where he went front to back to front and maybe back to front again. But wasn't enough to overtake Punto CL Racing Black at 498 points. The NinjaTrader Esports 217 points back from there, with Punto CL Racing Blue 238 points back. Simsa Esports 297, and then Punto CL Racing Red 314 points in 5th place.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately going to be the end of our broadcast tonight, but we want to give a big thank you to the series sponsors for this entire season. ASR, they design and build the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. Visit them at advancedsimracing.com, as well as RaceLab. It helps you improve your driving skills, so start using it now for free at racelab.app. And we also have ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing at thebuttkicker.com, as well as NinjaTrader. Visit NinjaTrader.com and get started with a risk-free trading simulator to start tracking your performance. So you know, but one thing definitely worth mentioning is the Majors Garage. They have free Baseline Plus setups, as well as affordable monthly subscriptions, telemetry, coaching, and more, all at 10% off by simply clicking on our link in the description below. Definitely don't miss that. I use it every week as well. We also want to give a big thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts that are going to be listed here on your screen. And additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. Check out her Bandcamp for more of her awesome work. Thanks to the team today, Michael, Joe, and Dougie. You can find out more info at GSRC at globalsimracingchannel.com or through our social media. Also, please check out our merchandise store at gsrc.storeenvy.com, and we keep a link in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If that little subscribe button is red, that means you're not subscribed yet, and you definitely want to be, because you don't want to miss a moment here on the Global Sim Racing channel. The next race for the Formula 3 series is going to be on March 24th. So that is when the PRL Formula 3 series starts back up again. So you're definitely not going to want to miss that either. And that being said, we also have upcoming series races for other series listed here on our screen. So check those out and mark them down on your calendar. We hope you've enjoyed joining us this season as much as we've enjoyed bringing the racing to you. And we hope to see you back on our channel soon. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.
Hey there, I'm Nicholas Dubois, co-founder of Advanced Sim Racing. We are a Canadian company. So what we did here today is for a real petrol head. He's really passionate about cars, as you can see behind me. We did a turnkey solution for him based on his needs. We try to gather as much information as we can on our client. And like we did today, we install a D-Box system. We install ultra-wide cube control steering wheel. We try to provide the best quality for your budget. So let's say if you want a budget of 10 grand, we're gonna give you something that's the best for 10 grand. If you want 20 grand, then we always try to stay within your boundaries. We do try to make it as easy as possible. So the client, once we install everything, it's pretty much gonna be a turnkey. So he's gonna press start on his computer, and right after, we'll try to explain everything, how it goes, how it works, and then he's ready to go. Our aluminum is from USA, treated in Canada, cut in Canada. So we do sand all our aluminum piece just to make sure the powder coat sticks to it. And that's one of the reasons why we use powder coat, is to make sure you have the best aluminum finish in the industry. And our quality is beyond what you can get with any other competitors right now. We are really, really passionate about all the gear, all the cockpits, all the sim hardware, and that's why we want to create something that's really gonna reflect our passion into our product. Come visit us at advancedsimracing.com. You can always reach us if you have any questions. You can call us, you can text us, you can go on Facebook, like our page, ask us questions over there, and we'll make sure to answer every questions there is. We are very passionate about what we do, and we try to make it as easier for you to go into the sim racing world, because there's a lot of gear, there's a lot of options, but let us guide you through your process, and let's hope you'll be an Advanced Sim Racing customer.